even though it's heartbreaking, I think I can understand the heartbreaking aspect of your child doesn't need you anymore. Your child is now an adult. You won't have that relationship where they're like so in love with you in that way. If you can get over that awkward situation and the newness of emptiness or whatever you want to call it, whatever new situation, you will have a new wonderful relationship with this
Yes.
child.
Then you get
Because
to make friends with your kid as two adults making friends.
and they will always need you. As
Yes, and
much
they
as
always need your wisdom and your support, but they're not always going to need you day to day. And like, that's got to be awkward. Again, I know we marvel at this every week. We had extremely different upbringings.
Mhm.
And in my household, it's assumed you leave.
Right.
That's the whole point. You grow up and you get out of the house. That's
Right.
it.
And your mother's probably proud of you for, or even proud of herself for giving you enough to be
She
self-sufficient.
couldn't wait for me to get out of the house. She was done. She
My,
was like,
I'll tell you this. This is so funny that you said that. This week I was on the phone with my mother and she goes, listen, if you ever want to move back in.
we're like, yes, that is on my radar, is the thing I want. I'll let you know. All you can say is I'll let you know. Thank you.
I said that. I was like, look, she's offering me if I'm ever in a financial position or whatever. She's like, there's nothing to be ashamed of. If you ever need to lean on me, there's a room here for you.
I moved back in with my mom in my adulthood twice.
Mm-hmm.
Twice I went crying back to go live with mom.
It happens.
And it was mortifying both times. But thank God I had that cushion. And, she was there. She didn't make it weird. She was like, yeah, we had the space, separate bathroom. Like it wasn't,
That's nice.
It wasn't like I was like in the living room.
I mean, when I got divorced, I've said this before, I wished I had somewhere to go to like not have to be an adult every single day for just a little while.
Yeah.
However, me going through that, it was very, very painful, but I found that I could do it. And I was very proud of myself for not losing my mind, for actually gaining control of my mind. I looked up how to be happy. I looked up how I can be okay while going through a very emotional period in my life. And I picked up good habits and I picked up a different way of thinking and a different way of doing. And I was like, wow, I probably could have done that from my parents' house with some cushion and someone making me food and, the whole, like, it would have been nice, but I did it too, like that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and I absolutely, and like if my mom didn't happen to live in Brooklyn with a big house with an extra bedroom, I would have done that and I would have made it work. I would have been the bootstraps person, but like, yeah, it was an enormous relief to have like a free bedroom to go to.
And as long as you're not like, oh, this is my new life now from now on.
I was like, I gotta crash here. And like, I hated every minute of it, but yeah. And it was supposed to be 3 months and it ended up being 14 months.
Which is not bad. I was going to say, I think a year is pretty appropriate.
Yeah, we were like 3 months tops.
It's hard. In New York, it's really hard to get first, last, and the whole thing in 3 months. It's very difficult.
Yeah, very difficult. But anyway, I think it is still funny that your mom is like, if you ever want to move back home, and you're like, okay, thank you. I will keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Oh, being a mom's got to be hard.
So hard. It's one of the reasons I didn't want to be. I'm like, I can't do this. No,
I would mess my kid up so hard.
It's so difficult.
I'd be like, you're an adult now, leave. And they'd be like, Mama, I'm 5. And I'd be like, no, I did it. You're 5. You can talk.
How to tie your shoe, tie it.
Yeah, get out of here. Yeah.
Well, shout outs to moms because
shout outs to moms.
Fathers and parents in general.
Nope, just moms. Yeah. But like really also weigh in, like if you expect your children to stick around you forever, like examine that. Is that what you want for them? Or do you want independence, but also keep in touch and like have a, shifting relationship to like adult relationship with your kids?
That's a good question. It's a tough question. And yeah, I would like to hear, would you want your child at, let's call it somewhere between 18 and 24? Because there's college, there's going back and forth. There's, you don't just leave at 18 most of the time. So let's say give you until 25. Do you want your kid to leave or are you secretly hoping they stay?
Yeah.
And why? And why?
Yep. And why?
Right. Yeah.
Yep.